Welcome, everybody. Hey, ladies. Thank you so much for joining tonight. We are going to jump right into it. I'm sorry, I had something in my eye.
Uh,
We wasn't going to make it. My name is Rhea Petrie, host of Purpose Conversations. This is a very special episode. Why? Because it is the 1 year anniversary. Woo,
Yay.
woo, woo, woo. 1 year anniversary. So 1 year ago in October, I just got the idea to do an episode or to start my platform in a new way. And so I interviewed a dear friend of mine, Gabrielle Thomas, who I hope is watching. But yeah, so as we celebrate tonight, this is a really important night. Thank you so much for joining. And for those of you that will watch the replay, thank you for that because that is equally as important. Okay. So let's get into it. As a starting point, Purpose Conversations is a place that is to promote just a safe space to dialogue about things that I think are important, you think are important, that we all might think are important, or not often discussed. And so tonight, and actually the next two episodes, I wanted to get back to the center of who I am. Some of you might have seen some episodes in the past, kicking it off about purpose, what we need to know about Black men, platonic friendships. We talked about dating. We talked about sisterhood and broken friendships. We talked about partnership and marriage. We talked about Black men and their emotions. And then that last one, which was so powerful, was divorce, navigating divorce and tough breakups. So, needless to say, this is where it's at. And so I hope that you all would engage with us in the chat. I'm going to move right on in to introducing my wonderful guest and why we chose this topic for tonight. One thing that I appreciate is when I connect with women who have a heart for women. And I know that along our journey, some people do, some people don't. Some people have had the best experiences, some of us have not. But all of that is welcome here because that's what the purpose of talking about. So we can learn, we can grow, we can leave enlightened, we can be empowered, we can be encouraged. So, in our three-part series, I want to remind you tonight we're talking about dating, relationships, marriage
Mm.
as women. Okay. So get the questions going. I already thank those of you that sent the questions in. Some of you just gave me comments, things to kind of expound upon. So I'm excited about that. And yeah, so without further ado, my guest tonight is a multi hyphenate. I'm going to let her get into who she is and what she does. But I will tell you that it was very important to have her as a guest. I think when we first met, and we just met this year, which I love, she was very open, warm, and vulnerable. And I think that's what I was attracted to. And then when I realized her heart for women, that just made it even better. So I'm going to welcome Yamisse. Hey.
Hey, how are you? Hello, everyone.
Good.
Thank you for joining tonight. Thank you, Ria, for having me on. I'm honored that you even asked me to be a part of your story and your journey. So, everyone, if you don't know me, my name is Yamisse Bean. I live in Houston, Texas, and I am a fitness trainer. I am an actress. I am a singer. And I just love, I have, as Ria spoke about, I have a heart for women. And I feel like that if we learn to embrace one another, we learn to accept one another's flaws and understand that we all have something going on and just work together, we can take on the world. So that's why I'm here, so that we can work through these things that that we deal with and that we don't feel comfortable talking about, and creating that safe space and that sisterhood that we need amongst each other. So that's why I'm here. So welcome.
Hey, love it. I love it. I love it. And I love what you said. It's very true. Sisterhood is coming next month. Who can get enough about talking about that? Okay. Because as women, I feel like this topic never gets old. And I think, especially once you're over 40, I'm not going to tell your age, but I know I tell mine because you
Hey.
don't look it. But what I know is once you cross over a certain threshold in age, I find that we don't value and appreciate our sisterhood as much. I think it becomes about marriage and about your spouse, if that's the path you choose. We'll talk about that because not everybody is in that vein of desiring that. But
Right.
I'm just excited that we get to create that space. So, ladies, hit us up in the chat, and I'm going to tell you, let's just kick it off. So, the first segment we're going to talk about is dating. And so I'm
Mm.
so grateful. I got some text, I got a couple of DMs, I got a few emails. I always love. I'm open. Smoke signals. Had some personal reflection on my own Black history, traumas, in relationships and dating. But one thing that came up, and I'll just read the questions off. So, you guys, if anything comes up, you let us know. So, here's what someone asked, and it's pertaining to dating. So, if y'all have something to say, go ahead and say it in the chat. The
Mm-hmm.
question was, how do you know who is right for you? That's a good starter, right?
Ah,
Um, you have any insight on that, Yamisse, or the ladies in the chat? How do you guys know who's right for you when you're dating?
well, I mean, sometimes you have to go through, different relationship woes, and before you really know, and it's really a journey actually. For me, I've been married 10 years now, and yeah, yay. And so when you meet people and you're out there and trying to determine who you're going to spend the rest of your life with, or if that's the case, sometimes people just want to date and get to know people. Sometimes people are dating for marriage. But for me, I feel like it's important for you to have someone that's supportive of what you're doing, someone that truly loves you, someone that creates that safe space for you to be vulnerable, to express yourself, someone where you have that safe place to fall, if you're going through something, someone to lift you up when you're down. A lot of times,
Mhm.
I know for me, you think that spending money, on you, taking you to the mall, wine and dining you and this and that, and
Yeah.
oh well, this is the person that I need to be with. No, that's not always the person. And I
Mhm.
feel that you have to also first seek God and ask him who he wants you to be with, because a lot of times we may make the wrong choices because we're looking at what's external. We're not actually consulting with the Lord and saying, who do you want from me, who do you have for me? And so if we do that, he will put that person in your path, and you won't be on this cycle of dating all these different people. So
I'm glad that you said that because I'm going to, one thing that I love about real life, real love, real people, real relationships is I want to represent the spectrum. And you mentioned, bringing this to the Lord. And so I'm happy to say I am a Christian, proud. I'm okay with mentioning that on this platform. But what I will say, and this was one of another quest, something I wrote to contribute to this part was dating while Christian. And so I will admit, having done that, it was a rocky road. And I'll say why. I don't think, one, everybody subscribes to different spiritual journeys, right?
right.
But I know for me, depending on where I was in my journey, I feel like a lot of messages are fed to believers and to people of faith. You got to have somebody that's saved, sanctified, filled with the Holy Ghost. And I'd be like,
Right.
I don't know. They'd be like, do you know if he's this? And I'm like, I don't know. So then I started to tailor my prayers in such a way where it was like what was fed to me, what was told to me. But the truth is, because I was telling my girlfriend that earlier, I said, depending on where I was in my walk or in
Hmm.
my journey, it was like I remember praying at one point, I want an intelligent Christian gangster, and that came to me, and that comes with things. Then I said, oh, I want to somebody that's my friend, and I got that, and then there was devastation in other areas,
Yeah.
and then I finally said, oh, I want me a man of God, and I got that. But however, how someone presents, I love that you said that because I think it goes hand in hand, praying, and I believe everything done with intention and anything that you bring in prayer will be, answered, and you'll get the clarity you need. But I know for me, it was such a journey because I was so fixated on the outside, the
Mhm.
guys that went to church, the guy he'd be up at that altar crying, 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 but baby, committing some real crimes out there.
Oh Lordy.
Some real crimes, some Christian
Mm,
crimes.
Christian.
So I just think I always want, and I told myself, I said, Lord, I'm gonna go to the next question and I'm gonna see what y'all got to say. But I do know for sure that as believers and as women of faith, you got to really pray. What I started to pray for and I asked God was for like that wisdom and that discernment, because
Yeah.
how to know who's right for you, you may not know, because you can be in a season. We all know we can be in seasons of, loneliness. You might be heartbroken. You might be worn out from, a previous situation. So I think
Mhm.
it always, yes, come on, Kim, someone who has a teachable spirit. Now that's a
Yeah.
big one. I got to put that on the screen.
Yeah.
Someone who has a teachable spirit, which
Right.
you may not know just from a date here and a date there. But
Mhm.
pay attention, ladies.
But what
Pay
I
attention.
also want to add to that is that I, and being just in full disclosure, I went through a point where I was just dating, 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 dating. And I, in my younger days, I would say the best way to get over a guy was to get a new one. So I was just going with different dudes, and it just was like a train wreck until I decided to really slow down and figure out what was most important. And it had nothing to do with the external, the amount of money that the guy made or anything. My, like with my husband, when he would always ask to see me every day, and it would get on my nerves at first. I'm like, God. But then I'm like, you need to appreciate that whenever your mate wants to see you. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times we always, like I've seen, and I've other people that I know have poured into relationships more than what the man has given them. They're always calling, when am I going to see you? When are we going out? When you find somebody that wants to genuinely be with you, that's a winner.
Well, I'm glad. Let's talk about that, because I know, having dated, and I was just always passionate about, relationships, dating, and girl talk, boy, guy talk.
Yeah.
It, I felt that I got a lot of like skepticism from those who love me, because I was one who dated, and I tried not to be so like fixated on the rules. So you know how you mentioned, you start dating somebody and they want to see you every day. They want to see you every day. Some people don't subscribe to that because they're like,
Yeah.
let me inch them towards, my time. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I was always one of those, like, you look up, go on one date, two dates, three dates. And I think that has its wins, but it also, has its challenges. So ladies, what do you guys think? Like,
Yeah.
I'm curious, because I'm pretty sure we might get both sides of the fence. One person might say, you know what, when you meet the one, it's a good connection. The
Mhm.
energy is right. You want to see me. I want to see you. Why am I going to lie? Like I got another date.
Right.
I
Yeah.
don't.
I want
But
to be with
someone
you.
else might. But it's on the flip side of that, a lot of people, they bring their patterns and they want to, like, especially men. It's like they see somebody want to lock you in. So they
Hmm.
want to monopolize all of your time.
Yeah.
And so I do think, I think as women, it's good to play that dance of kind of know, yeah, exactly, flowing with what feels right. We need to come on. I got to put some of these up. Come
Yeah.
on. We he
He
need
needs
to
to
miss
miss
you.
you.
I'm with you on that.
That's true.
He need to miss you. Okay, flow with what feels good and right.
I like
Man of
that.
God is the only way to go. Now,
All
if that's
right.
your belief, I believe it too. If you believe, and I believe for those, like the Bible say, if you don't, you can pray until they do.
Exactly.
No games.
Games.
That's
That, I'm
another
with
one.
that. I don't play them games. Don't play them with me. Exactly.
Exactly, exactly. So yeah, I think it's good to think about, with dating, just for those of you who might be dating. We did get another question about dating, and it was with regard to when you're divorced. So I don't know if we have any women who are divorced, maybe because this person asked this, but it's like, what about after divorce? Is there a right time to date? And so I had a girlfriend of mine who was on my divorce and tough breakups, and that was one of the questions I posed to the panel. And I think, to this point, that someone said earlier, flow with what feels good and right for you. I think what I'm hoping to convey, and what I hope all of us are conveying in our lives, is that we don't have to subscribe to a time frame. I feel that healing comes at different points in life. It doesn't mean that, you get divorced and you got to stay by yourself for a year. I don't, yeah, I think it depends on your
Right.
journey. So whoever that is, I want you to know, if you want to date, date, especially if you're divorced already. Do you, girl? And I
Exactly.
don't think there's a right time. Do you have any thoughts on that one?
I feel like, just to confirm what you said, it just, if you're spiritually connected, again, I would say talk to the Lord about it before you make those decisions. And if
Yeah,
you feel right in your heart, it feels like something you should go with, then do it. You know, but sometimes, and then sometimes it may take a little longer for people to heal. So you may need to take that time to get to know yourself, because sometimes if you're dealing with that loneliness, that season of loneliness, you're jumping back into a relationship, you're not all the way healed from the last one, and so it's
yeah.
just that cycle. So I would
Yeah.
take that time to get to know yourself,
Yeah.
maybe pick up a new hobby or something. You may just learn something great and may be able to be by yourself for longer than, what you anticipated. So it's just
Yeah.
a case by case basis.
And that was exactly why I didn't want to only showcase divorce, because I find that, we have a lot of people that don't really believe in marriage or want that, but they do have long-term partnerships. And
Right.
those relationships are just as intertwined, just as heavy when they end, just as complicated if there's children involved, finances involved, property,
Absolutely.
in all of the businesses.
Yeah.
So I don't exclusively think like, oh, divorce is like just the only thing that would cause that weight. But I like what you said, because the truth is, we all need that little healing space.
Oh yeah.
So
Absolutely.
I do. Uh-oh, come on. I got to highlight this. Come on, Miss Gidry. She said, I'm married 44 years. Come on, the same man. And don't. So we need you to chime in, because we heading towards marriage in a second, Miss Gidry. Oh,
Oh,
yes. Okay. So what, Tati, I want to make sure I'm always highlighting our comments. I've been divorced. I don't believe it's the right time. If you're seeking God, he'll give you the discernment.
all
I
right
love
now.
it. We got some
Like
believers in the
that.
house tonight.
Yes.
Shanta, hey sis. I believe in going with the flow and letting things organically evolve. If it materializes into something more, great. If not, just enjoy the
I
process.
like that. That
Let me tell you
positive.
what
I like that.
what I noticed is, one, we have a whole crowd of women that is not here for no games. So
No.
high five on that. That's
All
been the
right now.
theme of tonight.
Yeah.
Two, I agree with the going with the flow. When I remember when I started going to this church, I got saved in 2003, but then I got into this community of friends that were all like super Christian and super, and I was kind of the one that was newer to the group. And we got into this. I used to host these like relationships between the sexes, or these chats, and people were so against dating multiple people at the same time. So
Wow.
I never subscribed to like just putting all your eggs in one, especially in the season of dating. And I still believe that till this day. But
Right.
I think it's interesting and seeing how important, some women are maybe listening now and dating. I think whatever works for you, like some people can't multitask well. So
Yeah.
for that reason, I get that.
I mean,
Um,
yeah.
but it's funny how many strong opinions, come up because we're Christian or because
Well,
we believe.
I would also say if you're dating and you're dating multiple people, I wouldn't suggest that you're sleeping with all those people because once you're doing that, it's it makes it even harder for you to determine who's the right person, or is this just something I'm just doing to be doing, because I'm lonely or I need to be touched and things of that nature. So
Yeah, you're right. Oh, they just got hot when you said that.
it got
It gets
quiet.
hot. You start talking about sleeping with all of them. Lord. All right,
Mm-mm.
so ladies, I want to let me make sure I didn't miss any comments. Dating is important even when you are married. Amen. Okay, good. So let me go to the next viewer question that came, and it was, any advice on what to do while single? How to date with intention? Love that question. My advice is, just don't overthink it. Don't overthink it.
Yep.
I remember I didn't get married till I was 39. I'm proud, about to be 43 now. And I was probably in the latter group of a lot of the women that I knew. And I remember, again, you when you do something with so much intention, you want something so bad. I really wanted partnership. I was ready. I had dated so much and I enjoyed. I don't regret having dated a lot. But then you start going on those dates, or like, let me go to a wedding, or let me go to some event. I'd be thinking, what? I'm about to meet him tonight, and then so then all it does is start clouding, then you meet someone that might be cool, they cool, but then because you're like building up this story and this like, this like, I'm just stepping into some, and it never worked. But
Yeah.
I think that was kind of what I learned about being single. It's just going with that flow, doing things to make you proud and confident, hanging with your girlfriends, hanging with guy friends. That's my advice.
Yeah.
Not letting it be so.
Having positive people around you, sometimes I've had that situation where it's always the women that are like, oh, there's no good men out there, and everybody, all the men are horrible and blah 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 and all this stuff. Stay away from those type people because there are great men out there. If you're single and you're dating, just enjoy.
Yeah.
Don't go out like, oh, I'm getting married tomorrow. Just take it for what it is. Take those steps and just lead with your heart. I wouldn't just overthink it.
Yeah.
So
And my dad is 68, and he taught me something very valuable because he was dating a woman. And this, at the time, I think she was in her 70s. He might have been in some point, I don't know, it was early, some years ago. And he
mhm.
was saying that it was difficult because everything that he wanted to do, she wanted to do. And so he was just like, man, I'm just so proud that I have daughters who like know what they want, who know, like I would go to trips, go on trips by myself, go to the movies, go to live concerts, go to dinner. It's like I built a life with or without someone.
Yeah.
And it was just interesting at my dad's age and in his realm of social circle. It was very interesting because it was a turnoff. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough because he just felt like she didn't have anything to bring to the table. It was all, and some, but conversely, some people might want a partner that's like, whatever you like. But for him, it's interesting that was that lesson that he taught me. And I said, you know what? That's right.
Yeah, it's something. And something my dad always told me is, when it's the right one, it's nothing's gonna keep him away from you. Nothing. So he's gonna be there. So that's
That's
the.
true.
I keep that with me. I always keep that in my mind. So
That's so
when
true.
I was dating, yeah.
That's right. That's right. I love it. I love it. All right, let's see. We got some more. Oh yeah, let me highlight this one. I'm back in the top. Platonic relationships are important for showing you that they're good guys out there. That is so true, Bree. Shout out to those of us that have some platonic guy friends that have stepped in the gap. Maybe they gave us some
Yeah.
insight or modeled for us what a guy should do, what a man should do and would do.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yes, true. Amen. I'm trying to get all these comments in because I don't want to miss any of them. When you meet someone, let them know what your desires are. And all that dating these days are not good. Old school. Come on, old school.
Yeah.
Be old
Old school
school.
giving
Come
us
as
those
you are.
nuggets.
Come as you are, okay? Let them know what your desires are. And the thing is, if they can't get with it, they got to get on.
Yeah.
Robin, you better enjoy with your beautiful self. Enjoy
All
your
right.
single life.
Yes,
It
Miss
is to be
Robin got a lot
enjoyed.
going on with her. A lot of great
It
things.
is. Oh, honey, it is to be enjoyed. I love this. I love this. Kim, which she says, what not enough married folks share is that there's still moments of loneliness or busy seasons in marriage. So knowing how to
Yes,
enjoy,
Kim.
come on, drop
Yes,
these
Kim.
jewels, married ladies.
That's
Knowing
true.
how to enjoy yourself is important. Yes, it is, Kimmy. I agree. I
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah.
Come on, Faye. So, guys, I'm going to move into the next segment, which is relationships, because I'm dedicated. Hold me accountable, my sisters, to ending this at 8, because I have never once had an episode that ended on time because it gets so good.
Yeah.
But I love this. Thank you guys for engaging in the chat. We're moving into the relationship space. So now we talked about dating, meeting new people, knowing what you like, building that space as a woman to kind of like say, hey, this is what I want. If you're not going to get with it, get on. Trusting God, praying to God, asking God to show you. For those of you that have a prayer life, I hope and pray everybody will at some point, because there's no way to make it today without one.
Ooh, amen
But
to
what
that.
I know, the question that came in relationships, I think this person probably is going through because it's about brokenheartedness. And it says, what steps did you take to fully heal from brokenheartedness? Have you ever been heartbroken or had failed relationships? And then in parentheses, it says, are you fully healed? You want to take that first? Anybody in the chat want to take that?
Uh,
Or
I would say for me, healing is it's a process. I There's baggage that you bring into your relationship. I did it, things that I went through in previous relationships. It's just been a journey. Now that I'm 43, you have to start working on yourself and really determining what's important to you. Whether you know you got to leave that stuff in the past, because bringing it into your current life will definitely cause you a lot of pain. So I would just say, just take that time, even if you have to seek some sort of mental health, or like a life coach or someone to talk to, or have that sisterhood around you, that friend that you can speak with, and just kind of just just let it out, because sometimes we hold stuff in, and we don't really express how we feel. And so
yeah,
I would just have that village. I like to create that village around me of people that can give me that love and give me that support and create that safe space where I can talk about it. But it can take
Yeah.
some time, because you can say that I'm over it, but really and truly, a lot of times you're not. It takes that time. You have to allow yourself time to heal, even
Yeah.
if you have to go through, you may have to cry a lot of days, just to purge yourself of that pain.
Oh yeah.
Journaling has helped me a lot, writing my thoughts out on paper, knowing, and forgiveness, forgiving myself for things that I chose, because a lot of times it's things that we chose. We can blame that other person, but we have to look at
Yeah.
ourselves and hold ourselves accountable for it
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, that's a good answer. I know, well, for me, one thing I could say to that is I think it just depended. I've definitely been heartbroken. And, one of the inspirations for doing this kind of at the end of the year for women specifically, we talked about this. So going back to our phone conversation, Yamisse helped me kind of come up with this three-part series for women because, she as a fitness trainer, me as a life coach, me, having a background as a therapist, me being who I be, being who I am as Rhea, having had a lot of relationships and a few heartbreaks in particular, I think the residue and the process of healing really took longer than it should have. And I own that. I own it. I walk in it because now I can recognize it in other people. And I'm very transparent about the fact that, when you don't, like you said, I mean, I've always leaned on my sister circle. I've always journaled. I've always been a believer of therapy, coaching, mentorship, going to church. I have stood at the altar before and prayed, have people lay hands. I've done every single thing.
Yes.
But one thing that I know, it kind of came to me probably 7 years ago. And I started to see that when, you, especially for those of you, which this question, the next one comes up, deals with when you're in a relationship for a long period of time. And what I saw is when you're in something and you allow your heart to be, it's like you're in, you're out, you're in, you're out, you're heartbroken, you're back, you're heartbroken, you're back. That residue and that trauma to my heart and the way that it manifested itself for me, I'm still working on now, as a married person, way beyond that relationship. And so I think it's really important to this person that asked about how to heal. I think prayer, I think a community of, support. I
Yes.
think being open and not just rushing to busy yourself, meaning open to therapy, open to counseling, wise counsel, all of those
Wise
things I
counsel.
think are major in
Yeah.
healing
Yeah.
because it sometimes can take a long time.
And a lot of times we don't have that self-love within ourselves. We're looking for that person to complete us when we should be complete within ourselves, and it's going back to loving yourself, you know and allowing yourself to just be. You may
Yeah,
have a bad day one day, a good day the next day, but just allow yourself that grace. That's what I would say.
yeah,
Sometimes
yeah,
you have this expectation, or other people put their expectations on you, and then you just end up hurt. So getting to know yourself, self-love, all of those things, that village and that sisterhood is what's important.
yeah. I'm highlighting some of the comments. And I think obviously we're biased because we're down for the sisterhood. I know we
Yeah.
do accountability. Hey T, only God can heal you and go through the process. Very true. Give yourself at least 6 months. See, this is, and see, I don't knock anybody's perspective because, like I said, it depends. It depends on the person. It depends on your capacity and resilience. Some people never loved before, and this is the one time they chose to. So it just depends, I think, on who the person is and how they're wired. I think going to the old school, Miss Brenda said healing is ongoing and a process that only God can give you. That is very true. We have a tendency to go to the wrong people for advice. That is also true. There are some good ones, but there are some wrong ones. And God is the only one that can heal you and give you peace. That is true.
Yeah.
We are welcome for all perspectives. Of course, I'm biased, but I do appreciate because a lot of the older school mentality is that you don't go to nobody for advice, that you don't
Right.
ask anybody to your right, which I respect and honor that a lot. But I
Mhm.
think, it just depends on your makeup.
Or we don't talk about it, don't share it with anybody. It's like, when I became more transparent, I felt more free. I'm like, oh, you going through it too? Oh, cool. We can talk about it. It's okay.
Yeah,
We're human. And that's what
yeah.
we have to learn. So
Yeah, yeah. Come on, B. I look, I just saw this pop up. Broken crayons still color.
Yes,
What
they do.
resonates is that there's beauty in your healing. Amen. And that's why I lean on the side of talking about it clearly, since we on the on a broadcast.
Yeah.
But that is so true. That's so true. Okay, so the next question about relationships deals with how do you know that it's too long to be in a relationship if you want to get married and your partner does not. Moment of silence for being equally yoked. I'm just kidding. That is a very real issue.
Yeah.
Um, I think you already know, like for a person to ask that question, to say, how do you know it's too long? I think if there's something in you that is like feeling uneasy, unsettled, if you know that you want something in marriage, children, like there's certain life desires that are major pillars. And if people don't align on those things, it's amazing how many people will bend, wait it out. I've had
Right.
clients in couples for years that will say, well, he knew this or she knew this, when we first got together, and they just in their mind thought it's going to change. I'm going to change their perspective. So I think you know that it's too long when, again, going back to prayer, going back to really owning who you are and knowing in your soul of souls what you desire. If your relationship is not feeding you in that way, I think
Right.
it's worth taking a deeper look.
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
gonna.
And it also goes back. It goes to you and your partner discussing the goals of the relationship. Do you want to get married? Do you see us becoming one? What are your thoughts? And then if it's starting to take too long, revisiting it. But they're going to show you, your partner is going to show you, they're going to take steps, and you're going to know it's going to be there in your heart, that spirit of
Yeah.
discernment that you have. And like you said, being unsettled, if you feel like, this is not working, I'm sitting here, I'm waiting, it's like 10 years later and I'm still like, oh, he's like, I'm getting it together. No, you're not. No, you're not, bruh.
Yeah, yeah. What
You're
I've
wasting
seen
my
in
time.
my own life, I think sometimes too, you can manipulate your own thinking and be thinking, well, I used to want that, and now, you kind
Yeah.
of acquiesce to what the other person wants. But again, that too has a time frame. I think
Yeah,
we
it
all
does.
instinctively in our souls, we know who we are, we know what we want, and after a certain point,
Yeah, because I dated someone in high school for 7 years, but I wasn't gonna do it in
wow,
these years. I wasn't gonna do that. I established that with my husband. I want to get married, and he knew. And then I felt convicted because I was going to church a lot more and praying a lot more, and I was just like I felt convicted. Like I cannot you know keep giving myself my precious jewels to you, and and we're not gonna get married. I can't do that.
yeah,
So yeah, so we got married.
yeah,
If
yeah,
I was gonna wait any, I wasn't gonna wait any longer. I decided what was gonna be that expiration date. I decided. I didn't give it to him. I didn't let the ball stay in his court. I was like, this is not gonna
yeah,
work for this long. It was already in my mind, and I already had a plan that what was
yeah.
gonna be the next step. So
Yeah. And I like that. I actually had the same, I was very clear by that point. I had taken a good 10-month period before meeting my husband, and I was just very clear. And it wasn't to like put pressure. It was just when you get
yeah,
to that point, ladies, I'm sure, we all here together. So you may be in that point now. But once you take that time to yourself, reflect on all the, past relationships, what you like, what you didn't like, you just get to a point of being so solid and sure that, hey, I know what I will do, I know what I won't do. And I had peace about it. It wasn't any like handcuff, like, you better get with it or get it. It wasn't none of that energy. It was just very like, I'm just sure, and I'm not going to be, I'm not going to. So I saw a comment that came up that said, wait a minute. Oh, when it's too long when your desires aren't met, spirit of discernment. So again, wisdom, discernment. Don't let anybody, come on, beautiful Robin. Don't let anybody waste your time. Amen. I'm with that. Time is so valuable.
it
And I
is.
think when you're single and you're dating and you want a relationship, I know for me, I used to be like, well, if I'm not in a hospital bed and somebody asked me to do something, like I'm gonna do it. But then I realized like too much giving of your time can
Yeah,
stretch you, it can burn you out. People will take all of it, and you just want to reserve. You want to reserve some things for you.
exactly.
I say next with the greatness. That's right, Queen Co, and that's the perfect picture, my
I
beautiful
know.
queen
Got the
friend.
queen on there.
Next with the quickness. All
Let
right.
me
Don't waste
say,
your time.
some people, some people don't want to get married. It's okay for them to stay together until the end of time, and they're good with that. And so, but if your desire is to be married, then I would have a timeline in place in my mind.
Yes. Well, you
So,
know, it's funny. I'm glad. Let me get some more comments in, and then I want to say something about what you just said because that's the next question. So, Corinda said, I
oh,
think as women,
Miranda.
hey, we can focus too much on their potential instead of their patterns. Patterns do not lie. Okay. I posted about this today. We need to take heed to their habitual behaviors that consistently show up. And you better preach on tonight, Clarinda. I absolutely 100% agree. Patterns don't lie with us, with them. So that is amazing. We got to check that post out. So, ladies, we can't focus on just potential. We want to blind ourselves to the truth. I know sometimes, but
Yeah.
patterns don't lie. Let me see what else I got. Hey, she said, hey, back. Run and turn back. Move forward. Don't let anyone brainwash you. Amen, Clarinda. So, what you just talked about segues into marriage because I see we have some married ladies in the house.
Mhm.
I'm
Yes.
dedicated to ending this at 8, and I want to have some Q&A with our live chatters. And the last question of the relationship part was, how can a person know if they're ready for marriage? And you kind of touched on that, Yamisse, when you were just kind of ending your last comment. How do you know if you're ready? So for all of you ladies in the chat who are married, just drop some gems on how you knew. And Yamisse, how did you know that you were ready for marriage?
I knew I was ready when I didn't want to continue dating, and I knew that David and I had that bond and that connection with one another, and we were aligned with our dreams and our visions. Of course, it's not a cakewalk. I don't want to put it out there like that, but he w- he's my friend. So at the end of the day, we have a friendship, a genuine friendship, and I knew that I was ready to move forward and not be out there just dating Tom, Dick, and Harry. I wanted to be with him, and that's how I knew I was ready. It was
So
time.
you knew when you were with him, or you knew prior to meeting him that you were married, that ready?
I knew when I was with him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because that is very key. I think I can't tell. It just says how can a person know if they're ready for marriage? And I think for you, it's a beauty when you come across someone and they show you something different, and it's like all the things line up, and God has given you that yes, and it's just a good flow. You're learning, you're growing, you're connecting.
Yeah.
But I think for me, my journey was a little. I knew I was ready, and I hadn't met anyone. And I
Right.
just spent time. I had sisters that were praying for me because I couldn't pray no more for myself, but it was more about just me evolving as a woman and becoming the partner, that I wanted to be. And I would just, a few friends, I'll be very transparent. A few friends and I, it was about 5 of us. We read this book. We kind of started our little book club, and we
Nice.
met every Sunday. We all journaled. Like there was a question at the end of each chapter, and we would email. And it was so enriching because there was so much in the book, and it was about, clearing your path for the one that you desire. But that really blessed us. And I think it blessed us because we were able to support one another. It didn't mean that we didn't date in the meantime. I was the only one that was kind of like 10 months clean, like nothing, not a hey babe, hey beautiful, have a good nothing, none of those texts. Have a good day, beautiful, good morning, beautiful, none of that. It was
Right.
nobody. But I think that time with them and just preparing, it talked about clearing up old mess. It talked about getting your own business in order, getting
Mhm.
your own peace, seeking in your heart and clearing your heart space and relationship with God, all of those things. I did all of those, like the gentle and quiet
Did you
spirit. I
take
read
notes?
everything I could read to prepare. So I knew, that when the person came, I was already like kind of steadfast in who I was and what I wanted.
Yeah, I
Um,
wasn't ready. I mean, I wasn't ready prior to. I was like kind of in and out. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna move here. I'm gonna do this. I wasn't really sure about where I was going. I wasn't. I'm just gonna
yeah.
be honest.
No, that's good because
All over the
everybody
place. I mean, I had
that's
lost a job. I was back living with my parents, and I'm like, okay, this is not it. I don't know what
wow.
I'm gonna do with my life. So you,
But you know what? That's exactly what I mean. I don't, for sure in this show, everybody is not in the same. I don't want it to be cookie cutter. I don't believe in a formula. I don't believe in ladies. This is what I don't ever tell someone you need to do this because
right?
everybody's different. So I love that you didn't have a job and you lived with your parents and you met your
Broke,
husband and he's
broke.
amazing and you were broke. All of those things are things that people would say were not desirable. Now you're beautiful now. Don't ever get it twisted. A
Yep,
man will
yep.
take, he will see past certain flaws.
I know.
And you, I mean, that's not a secret. But I'm just glad that you shared that because I never want any woman to feel like they got to be anything other than who they are,
Oh
where
no,
they are,
no.
because
The
God is
right
in
one
control
is
of that.
going to. They're going to step up at whatever place you're at. It doesn't matter. Whatever stage in life, you can be broke. I mean, I was shamed. I mean, my ego was bruised because I was used to having a job and used to taking care of myself. I was very independent. I didn't want to ask no man for no money. I didn't want to
Right.
depend on him. Because I'm quick. Yeah, I can take care of myself. That's just me. But
Yeah.
when my husband came in at that point and I was had slowed down, that's
Hmm.
when I was like, okay, we can do this.
No, and you guys are so amazing. I love both of you so
Thank
much. What
you.
a great pair you guys are.
Thank you.
Miss Brent, come on, old school. What you got to say? You said I knew I was ready because I wasn't going to waste my time waiting on anyone. I'm reading this the way I think you said it. Waiting on anyone to think I was gonna wait. So we got married. Okay. I love it.
All right.
I love it. And that's confidence, that's assuredness, that is, I know who I am and I know what I won't settle for. And amen, Miss Brenda, because that never gets old. Okay. So I want to talk to the marriage. I want to talk about marriage. We got 20 minutes left, 19 to be exact. Um, and I know we have a lot of wives in the house. Okay. So
You do.
this is really a funny one. And it says, what is the work that married people always talk about?
Woo.
when when they say a lot of y'all are probably laughing or taking a sip of wine.
Where's
What
my
is
wine
that
glass?
work? What is the work that married people always talk about when they say marriage is work? Come on, chat. Come on. I need to see some what kind of work. I dated somebody that made a joke and they said, is it construction work? Is it office work? I'm not gonna give nobody props for their joke, but that was funny.
It's constant. It's constant everyday work. It's
Yeah.
communicating. It's woo. It's work.
What see? You see how that kind of leaves you speechless for a minute. It's
Yeah.
like, but
Yeah.
people say, especially in my field, people say so many blanket statements.
Right.
And I know for people like me, I was a sponge. I'm always the one with the journal, with the notepad. I could be watching an episode of like, I'm gonna fix my life or whatever. And I'm
Mhm.
always like soaking up knowledge and ready to learn. And, in the practice that I lead, it's always a teachable moment or, whatever.
Yeah.
So I think it's funny that people just throw out communication, which I
Yeah.
see a lot.
Mhm.
But let me just let's get these comments as we talk. So we got a ha. They don't want to know. Well, Kimmy, they do want to know. Hey sis. And you just had an anniversary. Shout out to the Haleys.
Hey,
Um, come
congratulations.
on, sister. All of these women who are giving these. Okay, thank you. Giving without. Ooh,
Woo!
that thing just pierced my vocal cords real quick. Woo! Giving without always receiving. How
True.
much time? Come on, sis. All of these women
Come on,
share. How
Erica.
much time?
We
We
got
have
time.
seven. We got 7,000. I'm willing to go. You know how I do. I'm a sucker for a good combo. Everything, communication, right? Just whatever comes to your heart, and so be humble
Woo!
enough to say I'm wrong. It's communic. Oh, true. It's communicating and it's patience. Ooh,
Yes.
you're right. 24/7, 365 days a week work. Miss Gidry, isn't that funny the way you put that? Does that make somebody want to sign up?
Yeah, right.
Everybody need a day off every once in a while, right?
Mhm.
My God. Ensuring you're giving your spouse this. Ooh, now, see,
Ooh.
Tatiana, you're a woman after my own heart. Because if I could say that's one thing that is benefiting, we still on the journey. Me and my beautiful, wonderful spouse yelling in the background. We still in our journey. But this has helped. I know because when you have two individuals and two people who value their personal time,
Mhm.
it speaks volumes to give that.
And learning how to take constructive criticism. That's something for me that I have not. I'm learning to work on because I can get very defensive with my husband if he tells me something, and he's really trying to help me, but because I just have this I'm just feisty.
I love it.
So you have to shed those layers. And I like what someone said, just being humble enough to say that you're wrong,
Oh,
and not getting upset so quickly. I can be like this. So just work. You have to work on yourself too.
I
Be
love that you
a
admitted that.
person.
I love that you admitted that. That's good because we're
I'm a
not all
Gemini,
gonna.
okay? I'm a Gemini. You know it.
Ooh, y'all, we need to pray right now just for that fact. Ooh, help all the Geminis, Lord. Help them.
Woo!
The Junes, particular. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Totally kidding. Marriage is work, always trying. That's right, sister. Hey, workout buddy. Trying to evolve and communicate with your partner to grow together. That is right. That is right. Because we all evolve and grow, and it doesn't always mean in the same pace, in the same way, in the same time. It's so good, Meg. Choosing. Ooh, now you
Ooh.
may see. This is the part
Take
of the
me
show that
back
I live
to
for. This is the part that I live for. The ooh, that thing just Yamisse choosing not to hit. But me too. I have been guilty once or twice of just doing too much. When you get that anger come over you, I have been guilty before. So
Yeah.
thank you, Kim, because it is a choice. Able to say you're sorry even when you know. Ooh, I'm loving all of you guys right now. She said even when you know you're not.
Oh man.
I'm sorry. Talking through disagreements. Ooh, and you're see, but God bless the man that wants to talk. But yes, sissy, I love that. Even when you don't, sometimes you just want to go to bed, lay your head to that bed
Mhm.
and start anew. I
Mhm.
love that. I love that. Choosing to let things go.
Yes.
Whoever wrote that question, God, please let it land on their heart and let them receive these nuggets because these are, in fact, nuggets. And that was a real prayer. In the name of Jesus. Yes, Kim, not keeping records of wrong. That's a big one. Learn to listen and don't take everything. Oh, that sounds like you mean not
Yeah.
take everything
Yeah.
personal. I love that. Having patience while you're ooh,
Ooh.
Kim, I'm about to get up and run around this room.
Kim
I
got some
need
nuggets.
Kim, Kim, I need somebody to get me. Ooh, I got hot. I got a fan on. I need to bring it closer, but I don't want my ring light to fall. Having patience while your partner is evolving, being their safe space, even though their delayed growth or our delayed growth
Growth.
may be hurting the partner.
Yeah.
I love each and every one of you guys. This is tangible answers for the people. Okay, I love this. LOL. Okay, Miss Clarinda, drop them. You have two different people coming together with different experiences, different expectations, and ideas of what doing life looks like. 100%. And attempting to get on each other's page. And that is exactly, if I were to answer that, 100% that is my lesson learned in terms of work, because two becoming one is more than a notion. It involves two everything: socializations, upbringing, desires, personalities, every single thing,
Financial
financial
background.
habits, moods, yeah, everything you could think of. And so it doesn't just happen. So I love, love, love you all, ladies. Learn to actually hear what's being said and not just listen to be quick and have a,
Comeback
I
state.
call it a knee jerk reaction in the therapy and coaching world. Have
Hmm.
a comeback like, whoa. It's like you don't even have to think about it. It just, whoa, like what? That's even with your word. Your word is like, what?
And I like
I
what you
love
say
that,
before you go to
Tatiana.
sleep. Try not to go. Try to end that the issues that you're having with them. Don't go to bed with it. Don't carry it on.
Yeah, God
Just
bless
leave it
those.
said and done.
That is admirable to get to that. I pray to be like, I know it doesn't always happen like that for me in my journey, but I know that that is definitely what the Bible says. That's what
Yes.
people have said. You don't want that, disruption in your
Mhm.
household. I love that. Hey, Jane. Like anything you work at, the first step is you have to show up and participate. Use all the tools you have to get through each new thing, good and bad. That's very true. Showing up, participating, using the tools. Now, the key is when you develop the new tools, don't just throw them. Don't just throw them out. You got to keep them in your tool, keep them in your belt. So I know earlier, I think Kim might have made that statement. When you choose not to hit below the belt, when you choose, you mean like you said, not to take it personally. Not when you choose, like Megan said, to evolve and to grow. You see your spouse is evolving and growing. I'm gonna try to acquiesce and be on the same page and not just be so, this is me. You can't be like that in a marriage. Well, this is me. You have to
Yep.
kind of two have become one. I love this. These are the things that I've had to practice and practice daily. I love it. Oh, honey, it's because, see, thank you, Kim. And I know someone earlier made a comment about how it's selfish to keep things to yourself, because when people, there's freedom in truth telling, and that
Absolutely.
is biblical, that is just real life wisdom. There's freedom in it, because when that hits my ears, I know I'm not alone. And that enemy tries to make everybody think they're alone. So I love that. That never worked for us. The going to bed angry, is that what you meant? Oh, okay. Yeah, because I agree. I think we've had that same
Oh,
thing. My
so
husband, my husband would always tell me I need to sleep on it. So I went to sleep fuming because I wanted to talk to me. Girl, I know it. I've had that same situation. So it is, that's where you have to have your own practice and prayer and just solitude. And you had, I think that's a beautiful lesson, actually, Kim, what you said, because I heard somebody earlier, if I scrolled up, said, learning to let it go. That's when you have to practice restraint, because it's that very crossroads between when you want something so bad and you're fuming to where some people might cross the line and then make it all bad,
right.
because the person is not giving you what you want. You don't want to talk, but then you just force your way, and that never works well in
Mhm.
relationships. I'm so glad that you said that. Now, here's another question. What will be one thing? Now, this is to all of you who are married, because it's tailored toward marriage. But what's the one thing that you would want now that may be different from before when you were dating? That's a good question.
Yes,
The
yes.
one thing that you would want now, that might be different than before. Ladies, do you guys have anything to say to that in the chat? One thing that you would want now. I don't know if that is framed in a way like want to do differently now, or maybe as a desire. When you think about Yamisse, how we were saying we both dated a
Mhm.
lot, and maybe you were looking for something. I think maybe if I read it in that way, something you would want now. Hmm. I don't. That's a good question.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I mean, because I feel, a lot of us, I feel I'm the same Rhea, so I think general core values, I want it then, I want now, personal
Exactly.
space and time, girl time, travel time, like all of those for me, those pillars, relationship with God, communicating, like those things are things I wanted then. So I don't know that there's anything different
Yeah.
that I want now that I
There's
didn't before.
there's nothing different for me. But I also want to say, circle back to the other question about marriage, is also listening, learning to listen. Because I know for me, sometimes I react instead of listening to what my spouse is saying, because it could be a cry
Mm,
out for help for him, for me to understand him and know that he may be going through something as well. It's not always about me. Sometimes I've been
mm,
selfish in my relationship, where it's always I'm tired, I'm going through this. I'm Instead of me saying, "What are you dealing with?" or "How can I help you? How can we work together?" That's what makes the relationship better, when you learn to work together. And I also had to learn to allow my husband to lead, to be the leader, and trust his leadership, and pray to God and ask God to mend those broken parts in our marriage and the things that we're going through. And it has really helped us. It really, really has.
I did a episode on partnership and marriage, and I'm curious when you say lead, because I asked that question about like head. The question was like, what does head of household mean for you? And it was so beautiful to hear the nuance, the differences, because there was a husband that said, well, I wear the pants, but she picks them out. It was almost like I take the influence and the insight of my wife, but the honor is given, as the head. So I like, it's interesting that you said that, and I'm glad that you said that. That's really good. I love that. Let's see. We got, oh, come on, Simonia Smith. Great subjects and nuggets, words of encouragement. That's what we want. Brenda, come on. Kim, look, Kim and Brenda both gave us a Ladies, if you have anything that you might want differently now that you did, keep your full armor on. Now, Simonia, for those that don't know what that full armor is, we know those, the biblical teaching of the full armor, that helmet, the faith, that breastplate of righteousness. Um,
Amen.
yeah, that patience. Ooh,
Ooh,
the patience.
slow.
Ooh, I got hot. I get hot on all the
Don't get
things.
angry, slow to anger.
slowing the anger, all of those
Uh,
things. Listen to receive and not respond. I'm
fruits
just
of the
loving
spirit.
all. Yeah, I love, first of all, I'm so grateful to have a space where people can express because, I never want anybody, people may not believe the same way, but I think as Christians, especially, it is our job to proclaim the truth. And I do believe that, especially in marriage, this is just tonight. And then these questions, it just takes so much prayer. Like Miss Brenda said, 365 days a week, 24 hours a day. It takes prayer, it takes community for me, wise counsel for me. But yeah, I love that. Here's another question, and this is the last one. And I'm so, oh, it's 7:55. And guess what this question is? And see, I had to throw this in. Were there any challenges that you experienced when becoming a wife?
Ooh.
To round us off, I need truth, ladies, real talk. Were there any challenges? And see, this is the nugget of wisdom that someone who is not married can pay attention to so that they, not everybody's different. So let's put that out there. But any challenges that you had when becoming a wife? Okay, now I'm gonna say this. This is one thing that I always tell because I have a heart for premarital. I did a lot of premarital counseling, and still do, and that's kind of a population that I pay special attention to because I think that there's certain things as a single woman that you cannot play out, practice. You can't live through until the partner is in your life because you do, like Clarinda said, when you have those dualities, the backgrounds, the temperaments, the every single thing is going to be different between you and that person. So how you react, how you respond, how you initiate, how you fall back, all of that thing will come as the relationship comes together.
Right.
um, and I think that has been, just to be transparent, that was a challenge and is and has been a challenge.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get all of these questions too, but so what that would mean for me is learning how to like there's a way to be tough and to be steadfast in who you are. But if you who you are as a single person for 39 years, you get married and it may not be so beneficial to
Right.
the culture and the blueprint of your relationship. You got to be humble enough to be like, girl, you know what, you could put that
Yeah.
sword back,
Put
you could
that
throw
book.
that sword where it came from, you don't need it no more. What about you? And I'm gonna get my ladies.
I would say just being transparent, sharing finances, you know,
Mhm.
career goals and aspirations. I kind of functioned, I was more independent. I got married in my 30s. So I was just like, I'm doing this. And then I wouldn't even tell my husband. So that's not good. And I'm like, I have my own money. I don't have to tell you what I spend money. If I go to the mall or whatever, I spend this. And so I had to learn that, okay, our finances are together. We're
Mm.
together. So I have to learn to share and trust. The trust part had to come in, that he's seeking the best version of me and he's going to help me get there, so I have to trust him. I think it was just at first it just was complicated. And
Yeah.
also learning to bring in their families, because when you have families coming together, they may have a
Mhm.
sister or brother, and you got to know that he has a family as well, so you have to incorporate that into your life. It's not just you and your spouse, you have families, and learning to make that work as well. So that was a pretty tough
Yeah,
for me in the beginning.
I want to clarify. So does that mean that you're saying you have to take some onus and like be proactive about, because there are some couples that put the responsibility on like the husband. So like let's say you come into a marriage, your husband has siblings and his parents, it's on them. But you're saying like you have to lead with that. Like, hey, I'm marrying you. Let me embrace and be open and get to know and love your family. I love
Yes,
that.
yes.
That's an important distinction, ladies. All right. Come on, comments. I'm ready as we close this out. Let's see what the ladies are saying. Now, I'm going to repeat the question for those wives. Were there any challenges that you experienced when becoming a wife? Oh, wait, hold on. I missed one. Lord. Okay, Megan, I need you to expound in 3 minutes. I'm just kidding. Letting my husband lead, says Tatiana. I agree. I think still learning that because lead can look different, yeah, I think that's the topic in itself.
Yeah.
Um, well, family interference was a big one for me. See, and that's what I mean. It's so many nuances and things that you won't know until you're in it. And so the work that has to be done is beforehand on you, so that when these darts come, or these
Yeah.
challenges, or these unknown, uncharted territories come, you are in a place where you can like navigate it without losing your head. Not being in control, all the time. Come on, I got the finger snaps. How to not
Oh.
see how that thing just grabbed my throat again. I couldn't even get it out. That is my sister, honey. How to not shut down. Silence is a weapon, ladies. We all know it.
Yeah.
You
I'm
know
not
it. I'm
talking to
just gonna
you.
leave it at that. And baby, let me tell you what you're not gonna be confused about is that if I'm not talking to you, you're gonna know it. That is
Yeah.
not always a
Not
good
dealing
thing.
with you.
I love that, Kimmy. So true. So true. Oh, Bianca, unlearning things that you may have learned that does not.
Oh.
That's right. That was my testimony. That's it, Sister Bianca. Unlearning things that you have learned, because it doesn't always suit you well. And it definitely, if it doesn't suit you well in a partnership, then you got to let that thing go if you want happy, peaceful, harmonious relationship and marriage. Come on, Kim. I used to be very conflict avoidant. So I wanted to run and quit.
Uh-oh. I like that.
We are ending, ladies. I promise. It's 8:01, but sometimes you just got to let everybody say their truth. Woo! Conflict avoidant. God bless you, sister. I know you have grown so much. I've walked that walk with you so long. I'm so grateful. And see, you said used to. Come on, everybody, notice I used to.
Used to. I'm in a new level
Used to. That was the former me, allowing whatever decisions made by him stand instead of.
now. Ah.
Wait a minute, Tatiana. I felt myself getting up again. So good. I love you guys. Allowing whatever decisions made by him instead of doing it because he wasn't doing it fast enough. Ooh,
Mhm.
I love it. You guys are the bomb. You guys are the bomb. You guys are the bomb. Kim needs her own. Come on, you better speak that thing. So Gabby is the reason this was my first guest right here. So Kim, we spoke it. She does have Relaxed and Restored. Everybody support my sister. She does have Ask the Right Questions podcast. Come on, Kim does have some things going on. And put it in the chat, Kimmy. Let the people know. What not to do in marriage. Hey, guess what? There is a population of people that would tune in. So let this be a word unto you. So Lord, give it to her and let it stick.
Yes.
Sis, you know it, E. All right, we all have evolved. I'm so grateful for my sisters. Y'all have been so intricate in my growth. I could say the same thing. And what a great way to round this up. I agree. I think as women, you guys, I'm so grateful, first of all, to see so many of you here. I know we fluctuated, but even for those that watch later on, this is going to live on our YouTube channel, Rhealism. Me, myself, and I is the the hour that I meant. But yeah, so for October, we want to really have these types of talks. So next month, we're going to circle back on friendship and sisterhood for November. And then December, it's about self love, self worth, self identity. Me and Yamisse talked, and I'm kind of going to let you say your final words too, Yamisse, but I want to share with the people. When we talked on the phone about what to talk about, we shared, she and I are exchanging, I don't know, stories about our journey, where the Lord has us right now and career wise and life. And I don't think it's by coincidence. And so I've appreciated, we send books to each other and like just encouragement
Everything.
that has really given me the confidence to take the steps that I'm taking right now. And so what I want October, November, December to mean for all of us, I don't believe, a lot of people do vision board parties in January and at the top of the year. I believe in starting this process in October, and I've done it for about 7 years. So October, November, December, we're taking a look at all the things in our life, things that we, want to do better, that don't serve us, like my sister said earlier, ways that we want to get closer to God, or moves, ventures, faith walks, all of those things. We got to peel layers back and then build the foundation. So when January comes, baby, we already in motion.
New
So
slate.
that's yeah, so that's why we chose to do this like October, November, December. So you mean tell us, give us any final thoughts or things you want to share with the ladies about tonight and anything else.
I just wanted to first of all, thank the ladies for tuning in. I know that you could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, and we appreciate that. And I've learned too from you guys, so I appreciate you pouring into us. And I want to thank Rhea for again for allowing me to be a part of this great journey that we're on together. And I'm thankful to have met you. And it's been like I've,
Oh,
I mean, we just met, but it's like we're just already connected. So
yeah,
I'm very
definitely.
grateful for that. I just wanted to encourage the ladies to continue, self love, loving yourself. Just, hug on yourself and just get the right people around you. Seek the right counsel. Forgive yourself if it's anything that's keeping you from moving forward, and move forward with confidence and bravery, you know,
Yeah.
and just know that, you can do anything through Christ. And that's basically what I wanted to say to you guys.
Oh, yay. Well, thank you guys so much. I'm so excited to get some of these limited beliefs that we hold as women and all of these like mindsets and attitudes and just things that we need to shed so we
Strongholds.
can strongholds. Come on. I love it.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you guys for joining. I'm excited. Love you so much. Please comment. You know, I'm open for truth and for feedback. So I can't wait for you guys to tell me how this, what this meant to you and if you got anything. And I can't wait till next month. So thank you guys so
Thank you,
much.
ladies.